to M's the Word, and today's M's the Word is modification. We're talking makeovers, maintenance, and modifying your body, tweaking things for your own beauty routine. And this is something we haven't really seen discussed too openly. It's a little bit out there, but we're going to go for it. So we know that dyeing your hair is normal, getting braces is normal, skincare routines at 12 is apparently normal, according to my daughter. Botox is becoming very normal. Breast augmentation, fillers. Are these maintenance or modification? Let's get into it. Okay, panel. So I have recently had breast augmentation. I've had Botox. You're all going to tell me what you've had. It's not just going to be me. I don't whisper it, and I also don't lead with it. So today we're asking, why are women changing their bodies? Are we preserving what we had, or are we chasing something that we never did? So let's start here, because I know, firstly, so many women will be thinking, what was the moment you decided, and what have we all had done? So let's start with, this is a safe place. These are our friends. So let's talk about what we've had done.
Oh, I feel uncomfortable now.
See? Yeah. I told you. It's weird. I was like,
do you want me to
empower
start?
women. Yeah.
Okay. I've had my nose done. So I had it done when I was 22. But it came off the back of being bullied for me. Oh. So I broke my nose when I was 10 without realising. Don't worry, I've spoken to my parents severely. So it
What do you mean you didn't realise?
No, yeah, I broke it. It basically, the bone was out. So it didn't, because I did go to hospital, it didn't get formed back how I should have done. So I had like a really big bone hanging out, and we just thought it was a feature, should we say. Yeah. And then I had breathing issues, and then I got severely bullied. So I went to the doctors, and they were like, oh yeah, you broke your nose and you didn't come and get it fixed. And I was like, oh, Dad. Just that. So after being severely bullied, obviously I made an appointment through the NHS, but because I had breathing issues as well. So with that kind of nose job, you can't get it done until you're a certain age, because you're still developing and your face is still forming. So I had it done at 22. And actually see my bully after.
Did you?
And I made sure he saw my new nose.
Did he say anything?
No.
So it was a boy?
Yeah, it was a boy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I got it fixed and I can breathe. So that's the positive in this. But yeah, I did it because of that initially, yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Of course. Yeah. Shelley?
Yes, Sarah. So as you know, that I did have breast augmentation a couple of years ago now, and I do have the odd tweakment here and there. So I've had Botox several times. I had some fillers last year, and I will continue to do what I need to do. Really, I think. I had adult braces. I had my ears pinned back. So there's been a lot of things that I've had over the years. Makeup tattoos, these things just become more normal over time. But I think what's interesting is actually when I meet people now, they sort of talk to men especially, like, oh, you're one of these girls that gets all this stuff done. And I'm like, what do you think? Do you think I am or not? And they're like, well, I like it that you're really natural. I think
you're like,
I pay for this face. So yeah, but I will continue. But I think there is a very fine line between an enhancement or an improvement and that duck bill face. I
don't see that too often now, though.
Not as much now. I mean, I did watch a TV show, and I don't know if I should say whose it was, but series 2 of it, she didn't look that great, I've got to say, bless her. And by series 4, she looked great, So, but I think she just went overboard at that time. But I think it was very reflective of the fashion almost. And I think even when I look at younger women around me, again, I won't say who they are, but they have gone extreme with cheek filler, lip filler, things like that. Are you talking
about me?
Not you, no.
Now's not the time to tell me.
Not you, but this. I think some women can do that, and that's what they like. Huge boobs, tight, all of this. But for me, anything that I have done has been for myself. It's been for my own confidence. It's been, just a little enhancement because I want to look how I feel. Yeah. And if I'm feeling good, I want to be looking good. So that's it.
That. Gemma?
Oh, babes, I woke up like this.
Say nothing.
Nothing. No, I 16 years ago, I think it would have started with my teeth, actually. I was one of the first ever to try Invisalign, which now a lot of people have. And because I was one of the first, it was like, loads cheaper. But I was doing work in screen and things like that when I was working to try and be an actress. So that would have been the first thing. And I actually haven't had loads, but then in the last couple of years, I have had some Botox, which I felt I did keep a secret. It's not a secret anymore, because I felt a bit uneasy about how I do a lot of things to be natural, and I felt a bit like a hypocrite, and I could probably say I am, but I really like it. So that happened. But I think the decision to have that was born of trying to preserve something. It's not trying to change something. It hasn't changed the way. And I've actually asked her not to do here because I quite like these ones because I'm a very happy, expressive person. And I didn't actually want my face to not have that. It was just mainly here. So I do have that occasionally. So I found this, the blush lip tattoo. And what it did is actually made the top lip appear bigger and bolder. And that was exactly what I wanted. So I'm completely happy with that. And that's me.
That's good. Okay, so what was the moment you decided? I'll start with you, Shelley, because breast surgery is a serious surgery. I've just obviously had it myself as well. I didn't quite realise how serious it was till 2 weeks before, and you get all of the medical information. At first you're just trying on implants, aren't you? Like
it's quite
sizes,
exciting.
It's going to be great. What shape? And then all of a sudden it's the danger signals.
Yeah.
But what was the moment you decided?
I don't know if there was a moment. I think for me it was something I had never really had. So it's not I wasn't replacing anything that was already there. I'd always said I'd quite like to feel voluptuous one day, and I wanted to have my children and breastfeed my children. And then when I'd done that, I sort of got to the point where I was like, oh, actually, if I'm going to do it ever in my life, it's now, so, and it felt like a treat, like a reward to me in some sort of way. I felt like, well, now actually there's bits of my body that have changed for having the children, and now this is the thing I can gift myself back, so I did. And like you say, I completely underestimated the nature of the surgery and how intensive the recovery would be in some of the weeks. But I'm really glad I had it done because it felt like I reclaimed me. I went from being mum who was pregnant and breastfeeding pretty much 5 years back to back to now me, so, and it just lifted my confidence, my self-esteem, my sexuality, all of those things just came back in spades, and now I feel back to myself again.
So that's really good. You definitely inspired me, I think. When you had yours done, I kind of saw it as something people either do when they're younger and they enjoy that for their lives, or they don't. And I never really ever thought I would do it because I've considered myself a little bit I don't want to say a wimp because that's literally like school language. That shows you kind of that school. But I would have been way too scared any other time. But I think seeing you go through it, and I always say to people, it wasn't just how you looked, it was how you showed up and the energy you embodied. And it's only grown with time. It didn't just snap as soon as you got them, because I'm still waiting for my embodiment. I'm like, when am I going to get embodied like Shelley? But I knew it grew over time, as you got to know your new body. And you were my age that I am now at the time. And I remember thinking, Shelley was my age, actually. Maybe I could. For me, it was going to Dubai, which is full of breast surgery bodies and a lot of treatment and aesthetics. And I hadn't had anything done at any point then. No Botox, no nothing. And I had worked really hard to feel great in my bikini. And I kind of did. But then as soon as someone took a picture, I didn't look how I felt. Exactly what you said. I was like, I feel great. I feel like I'm really claiming my life. I'm in this hotel that I've always wanted to come to. I feel fit and strong, and like post-baby, I was still breastfeeding at the time, but I felt like me for the first time in ages. And I looked around and I just thought, I am always late to the party, and look, everyone looks different to me. And all my friends had smooth faces and without a filter. I was like, hang on, what have I missed? Like, how many people getting this done? I remember tentatively asking you, and I'm getting done. I'm like, what? So how long have you been getting this Botox thing and the breast augmentation obviously was a later decision, but I said it in Dubai, and I said I might get breast surgery done, and my husband and my best friend were like, "You're not going to do that," and I was like, "I actually am being serious. I might," and they're like, "I mean, you could, but I just never thought you would," and I'm like, "Why? Why not?" So that obviously fueled me a little bit, because I'm like, well, what kind of person then gets it? Because my, best friend over here's got it, and she's just brilliant from it. She's still Shelley. She's not turned into Jordan overnight and has suddenly become a different person.
Do you know, I've given up feeling good in my bikini on holiday, because I could work really, really hard to feel good in my bikini. And I even go on holiday with a spray tan, because when you've got young children, there's no room for sitting down and tanning like there used to be. But then I suffer with something called like Prosecco retention, I think it is. And like the minute I have one, it's like all gone. So I'm just like, so
Dated.
Wear a one piece. Wear a one piece and drink Prosecco.
And the spray tan thing means I'm more tanned at the start of the
Oh,
holiday
I
than
go
the end. I get
whiter than I
paler
go. Yeah.
as the days go on. It's like, I thought that was the day 7. Yes, it was. Okay. So was it confidence led or comparison led? So for you, obviously, it was a completely different experience.
Yeah, I mean, I have had little tweak on like microblading on my eyebrows recently, and I despised it. And it's almost like put me backwards, as in it was so painful. And she was amazing, and they looked okay, but
They look lovely.
I wiped it off as much as I could. But I was like, it was just, I think my face changed so much, and I just wasn't ready for that. Yeah, and it almost, I'm all for getting whatever you want to get done, and I was like probably one step closer, going, oh, should I see what Botox is like? If anything, I'm like, no, I've gone completely back. But I think that's just was a bit of a shock of how much it like changed my face.
I'm looking at your forehead so smooth.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
looking
believe
at
it.
you as well,
You've got a very smooth
No.
forehead at this point. I do remember, I know, because I joked with my husband recently. I said, oh, my phone's due an upgrade. There's a point to this. 3 years ago, I got that phone, and it had a really, really HD camera. And that's when I realised I had lines in my head. I blamed the phone. I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They just come out of nowhere, don't they? They do. So teenagers can now contour better than we can.
Oh, yeah.
They've got 8-step skincare routines. They're dissolving fillers at 19. We grew up with magazines. They're growing up with filters. I mean, anyone else love the Paris filter? That's just my favourite. Smooths everything. So the social media effect is real. Has Botox become normal? And has a boob job become just another beauty treatment? And how young is too young?
I am scared at how young these things can happen, because as someone that is in their 20s, I feel like, gosh, I wish you women knew how beautiful you are just by having youth. And I wish there was an age cap, and that age cap had a 3 in the front of it, like as in 30 something, where you can make these decisions for yourself, but are not allowed them whilst you're still full of youth and collagen and
natural
all
beauty.
sorts of
Yeah.
things. Obviously,
For some of the things,
for some of the things, maybe not for things like where you're being bullied on things like that, but that, I don't know, I guess there's loads of caveats to that, and that's why there isn't one. But it worries me how much change can happen so young, when someone really, you're a lot of people have so much insecurity and they need to learn themselves. I think that's what I'm trying to get, which actually you don't get at an age. You could be 50, you could be 25. So that's why my whole point is flawed. But I just feel like it's got to come from a place where you feel so secure in yourself, and you're making this decision from empowerment, like yourself, than a decision of I'm not good enough. And where's the line, and how do you know the difference?
I don't know. I think it's worth saying that for me, I felt a huge responsibility to tell my daughter, because she's 12. She's not going to not notice. The boys will notice too, naturally. But for her, I wanted to talk to her about it, and not get her permission, but just explain that I was going to get this thing done, and that it wasn't just getting my forehead smooth, which she noticed as well. She notices everything I'm doing, and she is on social media, so she is aware, and she understood that I'd had Botox done. And then I said to her, I need to talk to you about something that I'm going to have done, and she's like, oh no, are you doing something else with your face? I'm like, no, I've already done things to my face, but that's fine. You don't have to notice it. No, it's something a bit more serious. I said, I'm going to do something with my breasts. I'm going to have surgery. And she was like, Mum, your breasts are fine. You don't need anything. And I was like, I'm not asking your permission, Sienna. I want to talk to you about why I'm doing it, because I don't want it to normalize it for you. I don't want you to ever think you have to get this done. It's part of life. I've had 3 children. This is something I felt since I was a teenager, and I am, successful enough that I can afford to do it, and I want to do it for me. It's something that I want. And she said, Mum, you do you. You do you. I think you look great. I'm sure they're going to look great. And I was like, okay, so this isn't, and she's like, I know, I understand what you're saying. I'm not, looking to have anything. So I think I just have to keep repeating that message, but I can't ignore the fact that this is part of her story.
Yeah.
Oh, my mum got her breast done when she was, I think, 41. I think I was 12. That is part of her identity creation, and I've got to own that. But
she'll probably see a lot more as well on social media nowadays. Like,
yeah,
compared to when we grew up. And stuff. And
and she's
obviously,
seen them obviously in real life, like evolve. When I first got them done, she's seeing how hard it was to recover.
Yeah.
I can't shower. She had to do my top knot every day, and she's like, oh. And she said to me, Mum, you look worse than you did after having Jack. And I'm like, I feel worse actually than I did after having kids. I feel like I've had a baby. And she's seeing the recovery happen, and she's seeing me she said to me the other day about me putting weight on, and she said, your body looks different like after surgery. Does it make you bigger around the waist as well? And I said, no, that's eating everything. That does that in 6 weeks. And she always says to me, I just wish I had your stomach. You've got abs all the time. And I say to her, see, I have to work hard to have them, and I haven't got them now. And she, when we were in this changing room, I literally wanted to cry, because I'm like, there's really an insecurity of mine that I'm like, okay, I've got what I wanted, but now I'm going to have to redo the body. And she said, it actually makes me feel better. And I said, why? And she's like, because now I know other people have that they put weight on and their belly goes over. Like, I've never seen your belly like that before. And I was like, well, you have after having Jack. She's like, yeah, but not just from food. She's like, it makes me feel better knowing that other people have it. So who knows what I'm teaching her, but
she's
maybe
seen the real side of it.
It's
hasn't
real.
she?
No matter what, it's real.
Also, she's seen you make that decision at 40 or 41 or whatever, in your 40s, and that says much more than making that decision young and then just not knowing why you did it. Like, you've got so much context to why you decided to do that.
Yeah, but just to counter that, I think the 20-year-old me would have loved for me to have felt confidence enough to do that. I've carried an insecurity for 20 plus years, and that's where, as a woman, I go, enough. I am not carrying this around anymore. I can do something about this. Do you want to do something about it?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, I do.
That was my epiphany, basically, when I just reached that point, and I thought, well, if not now, when? I'm going to do it. I've always said I'm going to do it. This is the time, and that was it. Just made that decision.
And there was like a child in me. I don't know if you had it when you walked into theatre, and it's so scary, obviously, but at the same time, there's this adult child in the hurnal going on. Are we actually doing this? Yep. Yes, we are.
You said you always wanted this.
Yes, come on. You're brave. We can do this. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's a weird transition.
It is, but I don't think it's bad for the children to see this. I had similar conversation with my boys, even though they are boys. It's not something they'll do to themselves, but I wanted them to understand me and my reasons for doing it, and understand it was a decision for me. So that was and actually my eldest said he said, I don't really understand it, Mum, but I support you. I support your decision, and I'll back you. And I was like,
oh my God,
that's
that
him.
is so
That's him,
lovely.
And then that taught him that he has to sometimes look after the woman of the house as well. So he'd have to make me a bit of toast or a cup of tea. It was nice.
What a brilliant job you've done.
Oh, thank you. But I was going to say, with the younger women of today, I think it has become very, very normal. And even around in my family, I've got one person saying to another person, oh, if your boobs don't grow by the time you're 18, I'll buy you some new ones. So it's that.
Oh, the whole table went.
Yeah, I know, but it's that normal. And then she's like, well, I'm nearly 18 now, not in yet, so I'm going to get these new boobs, and it's
Not in yet.
But I was like, I think you're one of my tribe, darling.
Viewer question. I'm 32 and constantly feel pressure to keep up with treatments because all my friends are doing Botox and and fillers. I don't even know if I want it. I just don't want to look older than them. I get that. How do I know if I'm doing it for me or for social pressure?
Well, she's already said she's doing it for social pressure. So I think you've answered that now.
That's only that's 2-year-old. I mean, I get the pressure, but then I suppose it depends who you socialise with as well, because I don't know anyone in my social circle. But sad tweaks. Obviously, I love you dearly.
Excuse me.
Love
Be
you
your
so
friends.
much.
Yes.
No, like my school, none of my friends have had tweaks or anything like that at all. So, and I don't personally get the pressure of social media. I've never understood it. So my friends do feel the pressure, and sometimes they have to shut it down for themselves. But I genuinely, as a person, have never understood it because it's not your life. So I can't understand when people go, "Oh, but have you seen so and so?" Because I'm just like, "Well, it's not you." So how are you comparing?
It's good.
So I don't know anyone that really has it done like properly. So I suppose it depends who you're
what's
around and what you're
normalised for you.
normalised with.
Yeah.
But I don't think she should do it just because she feels the pressure. I get the old thing, but take some collagen, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Get some sleep, drink lots of water.
Spoken like a younger woman. I'm just going to say, Jade.
It's
Just for a couple of years.
Fast forward 10
couple of
years.
years.
She's
Yeah.
32.
She's only 32.
I think from the way the question's worded, she is not doing it for herself.
No.
Keep drinking lots of water, have a lovely time, and then if you feel like it's something she wants to do for herself one day, and she will know the difference, then fine. But I think the answer is already in the question, really. She's doing it with the wrong point of view. Because if it's because of her other people, then she's not sitting there thinking and seeing all her own beauty that's actually there. She doesn't really want to do it.
I will say that's how mine started.
Yeah.
That I'm not putting myself as a poster child here for this. Is that the right phrase? Yeah. But that's how it started. And then it progressed to, I don't like how I look.
Yes.
And then it progressed to, I want to do this thing, I think. And then you do it. So,
and I think that's why she's got to sit with it.
Yeah,
sit with it. She's got to see how this pans out for her.
It's probably her inner critic as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of slowly highlight these points.
of course.
She's around it.
Let's talk about men, perception on honesty. Shelley, I'm looking at you because I know you're back in the dating world.
Yes.
So do you disclose it? Do you downplay it? Do you feel judged? Because it
I
is
like
this
it.
strange social dance. We're meant to look flawless, but we don't admit how. This is
I
the
don't think you
old
should ever admit.
storyline. So
I
tell
I
us.
don't advertise it, but if I'm asked, then I'm honest about it. That's all
okay.
I would say.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think, like I said earlier, it's a reoccurring thing. Like, well, it's nice that you don't do any of those things.
Yeah.
Who said that? But that's good to me because that's how I want to look.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like I've got a face full of stuff, So, but it is interesting that men will be drawn to a certain type of woman. Like I try and keep myself turned out well, and I work out and look after myself. And men like that because they're attracted to that, but then they're bamboozled by what goes into it. So
they want you to wake up.
Sometimes you have to work really hard to look natural, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I'm honest to a point. I'm not going to send a whole
Send
list
them a
out
list.
like I just did earlier. But it's out there now, isn't it? So.
Okay.
I have a tendency not to be honest at all about it.
Yeah. So this is big for you.
This is really uncomfortable, actually.
Well done. You're doing great.
I might ask you to delete it. But my great nan, she was always like, her husband wouldn't even know she had hairs on her legs. Like she kept everything secret. Like it was kind of kept that way. That's love. Now my husband doesn't have that luxury, but he is very health conscious and would not have liked me having Botox. Does not like me having Botox. So I just
Does he now know?
he knows, and otherwise I wouldn't be saying it. But he doesn't like the fact. And when I had it, I didn't tell him. And then I said, I'm going to my anti-aging facials and decided, I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to not deliver the information unless I'm asked. And then kind of maybe a couple of months into it went, are you just secretly having Botox and you haven't told me? And I went, yes. And then that was that.
I
And
know
we've never
so
spoken
many
again.
friends that have had secret facials.
Yeah, I didn't tell my husband when I
Anti-aging
started.
facial.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah.
I know a lot of relationships where, like people I've spoken to, that their partner wouldn't, no tweaks, and they're very firm. You're not getting
Really?
anything done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting
You're not
anything
This is the
done.
thing, I don't ask
Oh, I don't like that.
permission. I obviously respect opinions, but it's my body and my life, and
Yeah.
he understands that about me as well. So absolutely would not want me to put anything in my body, but likes the results, it's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, my ex was very against my breast surgery. Yeah, he didn't want me to have that at all. So, but obviously,
You did.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the right thing. Yeah, it's funny how also everyone would say, so you're getting it done. I was quite open beforehand. And there's the next question would always be, what does John think about this?
Oh wow.
Always, every single
Is
person.
it?
And I go, he's really excited.
It's probably
He
quite
was, but
divisive, isn't
yeah,
it? Of
I think they
whether
wanted to
your
know.
partner, whether you have to ask permission or
Yeah.
get acceptance from your partner or not.
And
That's
he
a
gets
whole
it
other
too.
episode, I think.
I think, what do
it
you
is.
think, John, about this? I
Oh,
saw
wow.
Sarah's got this done. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is. It depends on their motivation as to what they're thinking, doesn't it? So for my ex, he was worried about me actually having surgery, and he was worried about me having a general anaesthetic and dying,
that's
essentially.
fair.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Slightly different.
after having seen me go through 3 very traumatic rounds of childbirth, he just couldn't compute why I would put myself in that situation. So I kind of respected that. It wasn't like mustn't do that to your body. It was just, why are you doing this?
You can see the
And
other side of it.
risking your life for your when you've got a family. But you risk your life crossing the road or getting on a plane or whatever it is you're doing. I'm gonna die happy.
Do you remember when I called you and I was like, Shelley, I don't know if to do this. Like, I could die. And you were like, you could die right now. You're driving a car, aren't you? And I was like, well, that's true. And you were like, look up the percentages of that. And then you might actually realise there's so many ways we can die. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I was like, no, you're right. I'll carry on. I'll carry on.
Shelley saying that,
Die with
don't
great
phone.
boobs. Die with great boobs.
She's like, listen, exactly. Look, she's like, look, I don't regret it. Okay, so viewers, we have a question for you. We want you to be involved here. Is what you're doing maintenance or modification? If you've had anything done, does this change how you feel about things? Perhaps you can feel a bit more open talking to your friends and family. And who is it really for? Thank you so much for joining. We can't wait to hear from you, and we'll see you next time.